Well, as I say, it's always a fantastic one on That's Classic, and today is without a doubt an incredible one. Today we have somebody on that honestly, I using the word inspirational, I think is a good one. It's a real good one here. We have somebody that was the co-anchor on the NFL Today in with Brent Musburger. She was the first, and by the way, if I at any point get this wrong, let me know, Jane. She was the
Well,
she was the first African American woman to host a major sports show. She is an actress. She has worked on The Love Boat, $6 Million Man, Starsky and Hutch. She has broken down so many barriers, not only for African American women, but for women in general through the years, without even realizing it probably at the time because she was so wrapped up in just trying to do it. And then she has been a spokesperson for Coca-Cola, Revlon, American Airlines, go on and on. Anyway, I'd love to welcome Jayne Kennedy Overton. How are you,
thank
Jane?
you very much. Thank you for having me. And it was great to meet you a couple of months ago. And I've been looking forward to this opportunity to get the interview done. So that's great. I'm doing fine.
Good, good, and I loved meeting you as well. So this is a total thrill. So I'll tell you what, let's talk about the NFL today out of the gates. So when you were, to be honest with you, I was really blown away. And by the way, for everybody out there, before I even go on, Jane has a book coming out. It is called Plain Jane. It is her memoir. It is you know what? The best thing I can say is she talks from the gut. It is so real. It is so genuine. She doesn't leave any feelings out. I can't say enough about it in that sense. It really got to me, and I'm not just saying that to promote the book. I'm just telling the truth.
Well,
And
that's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
it's the
Thank you.
truth, Jane. It really is. It's very, very real. And in that book, she goes through the whole career and everything. But so I'm reading about the NFL Today part, and one thing that just really struck me is how did that even start? I mean, you kind of, for the audience, if you could break down kind of, the process you went through to even get the audition, so to speak. But what even came on, I'm reading the book and I'm thinking, the one part I'm trying to figure out is what came on you that you're like, hey, you know what? I could be the anchor on the NFL Today. You had no journalism background, no major like what I would call reporting background. You're gorgeous. I mean, you are a beautiful woman, all of that. You are smart as heck. You got a great background, incredible work ethic, all that. However, you're still sitting there going, you know what? I'm going to go for it. What was the impetus there to get you going?
Well, I had been an actress for 8 years before that. And I had done acting since I was in high school. Well, actually, middle school. So entertainment was sort of in my blood, and I'd done a lot of different ventures in high school that sort of led towards entertainment, but I was always stuck on I was going to be, Shirley Chisholm.
Yeah.
She was my inspiration. She was my role model. And I was going to go to Columbia, be a political science student, and graduate with honors and go into politics. Well, that never happened because I then got stuck by the acting bug.
Yeah.
Um, and I went west to follow my dream and from Cleveland, Ohio. And I went west and I said there were so many, I mean, at that particular time, Hollywood was a niche,
Mhm.
and there were so many people that you would meet over and over and over again. And, the opportunity to get a role was very far and few between for a young actress, especially a Black actress, because there
Sure.
weren't very many Black films being done at that time. And when they were, the leading men they were the stars, the women were unless Cleopatra Jones, Pam Grier, pretty much everybody else was like a secondary position.
Mhm.
Um, and I was just scrambling trying to make it. And the opportunity, I heard that the NFL Today was looking for a replacement for Phyllis George when I was about 7 years into the business. And
Before we go on with the interview, I just wanted to remind you to please subscribe to That's Classic if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so that you'll know when my next episode is being released. Okay, let's go on with the interview.
I knew that I never had journalism schools, I had skills. I wanted to go to college, but I probably would not have learned studied journalism. Had I
Right.
been there, I wanted to go in political science. So, I had, like you said, no background other than just being a huge fan. As I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, my dad had five daughters before he finally had a son. But my dad was an avid fan, and
The Browns. Yeah.
the Browns, and I mean, like we would scream, and if imagine living in Cleveland at that time when Jim Brown
Oh, one of my
reigned,
favorites. Yeah.
okay, so like people were even like coloring their doors of their houses brown, and
Hmm.
I'm a Browns fan, and so that was something that was ingrained in me. But I was before Title IX, so there were no opportunities for women to get involved in competitive sports.
Hmm.
I did compete in the standing broad jump, which I don't even know if it's still a thing right now. But back in the day, there was a softball throw and a standing broad jump in elementary school. And my dad took me I made it to the state titles, and I did not place.
But
But,
you made it to the state titles. I mean, come on, that's
I
pretty good.
did. I
Yeah.
did. And then when I got to junior high, I said, well, the any way that I could get near sports, I'm open for that. And the only thing that a female could do at that point to get near sports was to be a cheerleader.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
that was my goal. I was going to be a cheerleader all through junior high and high school. Um, and then when I got to high school, um, the only thing that I couldn't do was track and field because there
Mhm.
were no cheerleaders. I was a wrestling cheerleader, basketball cheerleader, um, uh, football cheerleader, captain of the squad, and I took great pride in that. That was my commitment to sports, and I absolutely love sports. But the fact that we were going to be um, going forward, it just didn't seem like a possibility. And so, I just decided that, I even joined the track team because I could be a water boy and a statistician. And
Wow. I mean,
get on
talk
the
about just to
just to
be
get on the
around.
bus and go to the meets. That's what
Yeah.
I decided to do. So here I am, and so many years later, and I tried to get my agent to submit me for the job because I said I want to do this job, and I knew that if I landed the job on the NFL Today, it would give me the name that I needed, because I'd been
Sure.
doing small roles here and there. Um, Never had a major starring role in a movie. I did have major roles and lead roles in TV shows and a few shows that were pilots for series that I was starring in. But I never had the opportunity to actually, um, you know, grab into a role and really sink my teeth into it and give it everything that I had, lay it all on the floor. I always said that to be an actress, you had to be willing to tear your heart out, pour it on the floor, invite the world to step all over it, kick it, and then you kindly pick it back up and stuff it into your heart.
It's well said because that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And but I was willing to do that because the ability to be someone else, not that I wanted to not be me because I was very happy child and I wanted to be me, but the opportunity to be so many different people.
Hmm.
Um, because I really wanted to travel. I had a desire to learn as much as I possibly could. So this was just an avenue that was going to maybe open that door for me because no female had ever done that before, other
Well,
than Phyllis George.
well, here's my question now, going back to this. I get it. I get the love of the sports. I get the background in high school. I get where you're at trying to get a name. But there's also got to be part of you sitting there, whatever your apartment, your home, going, but I have no background in any of this. I'm just doing it. I mean, it's amazing that you broke through how many doors to get, just to get to that to the point where they were like, okay, fine, we'll see you. We'll talk about this. Did you have any of that going through your head, or was it just like push ahead and just do it?
I did have that in my head, but I also when I first started, people would tell me, well, if you're going to you want to be an actress, you can't be a singer dancer. I started out as a singer dancer. You can't do commercials because major actors don't do commercials. Now they're all over commercials.
Exactly, everywhere.
So, there were so many things that you couldn't do if you wanted to be an actress. I never listened to them. So when the opportunity came to do that, I had a lot of friends in the NFL. I
Mhm.
knew a lot of people in the NFL. So it just seemed to me, I loved it. It was an open door. So why not?
I love it.
I never let anyone tell me, no, you can't.
It's
And
awesome.
my agent told me, no, I can't 3 times. And I told him, you're going to submit me. And he said, no. Next round of 10 people he submitted, I begged to be on the list. He said, no. Third round didn't submit me. So I said, we'll find another way. So we
Wow.
called Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. You contact Jim Brown. I mean, come on.
Well, Leon, my ex-husband was a friend of Jim's. And so we called Jim and we said, do you know anybody that we can reach out
Mhm.
to try to get this audition? And he said, Bob Stenner, who's a field producer for CBS for the football games. And so he gave me Stenner's phone number. I called him. And he said, I think you'd be great on this. He said, I don't know you, but you've got the chutzpah. I think you're beautiful. The things that the talent that you talk about that you have, I think why not? Why not? So he he told us to reach out to Bruce Jenner's manager, George Wallach.
Wow.
And Bruce Jenner had just been the huge Olympic star,
Yeah, the
with it.
decathlete or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I'm sorry, it's Caitlyn Jenner.
Right, right.
So yeah,
Well, at the time it would have been Bruce, so
at the
it's
time, at the
understandable.
time
Yeah.
it was. So I talked to George Wallach. He said, I think you'd be great on the job. He said, you know sports, you know a lot of the people in the game. And he said, I think that you'd be perfect on the set. So if you get the job, I'll represent you. And I said, that's fine because my agent seems to not want to represent me.
Wow.
So he called the head of talent for CBS Sports, who was coming into Los Angeles the next week, set up a meeting, met with her, and she said, I love you. I think you'd be great for the job. She brought me to New York for the auditions when the auditions came up.
That is just amazing. I mean, do you remember that moment when it was like, oh my gosh, I got it. Like I got the audition. I like
Oh,
really doing this.
oh, got the audition. I thought you were going to say got the job.
No,
Yeah.
I no. First, I want to go with the audition. Just getting that. I'm sorry, that was climbing a mountain right there.
Well, I knew that getting the audition was the first big step. So, but I mean, one of the reasons why my agent kept saying that he wouldn't submit me was that they were looking for someone white,
Mhm.
um, looking for someone like Phyllis, and they were looking for, they certainly weren't looking for minorities.
Yeah, I get it.
So they had CBS Public Relations had sent out notice that this is the greatest talent hunt since Scarlett O'Hara.
My gosh.
And so they had so many women trying vying for that job.
Hmm.
And I don't know why, but I've always been the type of person to never give up, and I tried anyway.
Yeah.
So I got to New York. There were 16 girls, and sure enough, agent said they didn't want a black person, right? And sure enough, I get there, and there's 15 girls that are white blondes.
All
So,
looking like Phyllis George. Yeah.
and I'm going, yeah, I ain't gonna get this job.
Right, right.
So I ended up kicking back, had a good time, just was myself. And when I did my audition, Brent Musburger actually did the auditions one-on-one with each of the girls.
That's amazing, by the way, that
Uh,
part right there. Yeah.
yeah. And when I finished mine, there were a few other girls left, but when I finished mine, he got up and walked out. He says, it's Jayne or nobody.
I
He
mean,
told
come on.
the director in the booth, it's Jayne or nobody.
Wow.
So he never did finish the rest of the auditions. I don't know if the director did or the producer did, but I know that Brent did not.
And they
Um,
had you do the audition too, from what I remember in the book, with an actual football player, wasn't it? Wasn't
yeah.
there? Yeah.
Well, there were three parts to the audition. There was on camera reading teleprompter, on camera repartee with Brent to see what the chemistry would look like, and then doing auditioning, interviewing an NFL player. And so they would not tell us who the NFL player was going to be because they wanted all the girls to have equal access. So they weren't going to tell us who that player would be until the very end of the Saturday night before the shoot on
Hmm.
Sunday in the CBS studios. So, this is back in the day before Google, before internet. So
Yeah.
libraries were closed on a Saturday. And so we're hitting there, get this information package on a Saturday night, and it's maybe half a page on the name, position, and what he does.
Oh my gosh.
And that was it. So, I found a way to find my strength and went to the studio and I said, enjoy this and have a great time. And I guess that's what Brent liked, the fact that I had asked the guy when we were in hair and makeup room, and all the girls were like clamoring all over the three guys, there were three guys that were being auditioned,
The football players. Yeah.
that they were using for the auditions.
Yeah.
And so my friend that I had spoken to the night before told me, Jayne, you're intimidating. He said, so I would suggest, he said, when you start to talk and you open yourself up to you're friends with everybody and they feel like you're a friend and they feel like you could be their sister. He said, that's that's the quality that you have that brings people in that then that's why they like you.
Hmm.
There's no pretense about you. You're not trying to be phony. You're not trying to be like all that, like
Hmm.
you're the best or any of the things that they would expect from on people of Hollywood caliber, I guess.
Hmm.
And so I just said after the other two guys had their makeup done and the guy I was interviewing was sitting there getting his makeup done and I said I'd seen a backgammon game in the corner and backgammon was huge back then.
Oh, I remember backgammon quite well. I still play. Yeah.
I said I said, "Do you play backgammon?" And he said, "Yeah, because we had time, like I was probably out of the 16, I was maybe 12
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
You know, and so we picked up the backgammon board. We started playing and we were laughing and joking. And by the time we got on the set, it was like we knew each other already. And that's what impressed Brent. He said the ease that you had with the players, that you could pull things out of them that we don't usually know about an individual. That's why we have this person on the NFL today. That's why we need someone like you. He said the ease that you had, the knowledge that you had about sports. My brother was at the time playing basketball for Marquette University.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm from Milwaukee, by the way.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Big fan. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And my dad being playing baseball all those years,
Hmm.
and we were his cheering squad. We go to all the games.
I
Uh,
love that.
but it was just in my blood, and so I was comfortable, he was comfortable, and the interview went great. So they just had one more problem. They Everybody agreed, president, vice president, director, producer, and I guess most importantly, Brent.
Yeah.
Um, they were concerned that the Southern affiliates would not go for two blacks on the set and one white.
Because Irv Cross was there too, right?
Irv Cross was there,
Yeah.
then there would be me, and then there would be Brent Musburger.
Oh my gosh.
So they sent my tapes to the Southern affiliates and to see what their responses would be. And they all said, she's what we're looking for, but how do we fix this? And so
Wow.
they gave me a 6-week trial. And what they did was they added Jimmy the Greek to the desk.
I remember him real well.
because Jimmy was on the show, but he wasn't on the desk.
Hmm.
So now with Jimmy on the show, then it's one white, one black, one white, one black.
Different time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. What an accomplishment. I got to tell you, I'm reading this book, and you know what I really enjoyed about it, Jayne, is the fact that you had this major accomplishment, and that was a huge accomplishment. And like I said, especially if we don't even take in race and we just look at just the fact that you went for that job with no background, basically, in the in journalism or anything like that, and you got it. And then on top of that, we look at, the fact that you're an African American, all of that. But taking all that in, I'm reading the book and I realize I don't know if you were even understanding that the level of impact you were having across the country, to yeah, that's what I mean. Because you were so, and this is to your credit, by the way, you were so wrapped up in doing the best you could and doing, just a great job. And by the way, I remember you. I remember you really clearly. I mean, I'm a huge football fan, and I remember when you were on your segments. I remember when you would talk with the players. I mean, you had it. That's not just like Brent saying that. It's true. You're real natural, easy going. You felt like, you know what it felt like? And it's funny because I saw it in your book too. Like you could just be there and, hey, we could all sit on the couch and, you know, just talk together, or we could all cook together. You know what I mean? And you translated that on screen. And I think that personally, that's why I think I remember you so well, you know?
Wow. Wow. Okay. That's
It's,
great. That's great. Because, when I first took off for LA, I said, I don't want to be the product of some manager or PR firm. If I can't be just me, I'm just going to pack it up and come back home.
Mhm.
I always wanted to be just me. I don't want it to be a recreated individual. And I liked who I was, and I had a very happy childhood. So I was good to go.
Yeah, you had great parents.
Whatever they threw at me, I went for it. My parents never told me that there were things that I can do. Jayne, you can do whatever you want to do. That's what they always told me. Always.
Well, and by the way, we said Cleveland. I guess we should give kudos to Wycliffe. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Wycliffe is the town that I actually came from. Yes.
Yeah. And
13 miles east of Cleveland.
yeah, and it was a very primarily white community, and you excelled, by the way. I mean, I'm reading your book. I'm like, okay, Jayne, is there anything else you couldn't be president of or head of? Or I mean, there was one point in the book, literally, I was like looking and I was like, seriously, I don't care, any high school kid would look at that and go, how did you do that? I mean, you were covering everything. You were in all these different, things, whether it be politics, drama. You mentioned Girls Nation in there, the cheerleading. It was just like really unbelievable. And so I think that says a lot about your parents, like just showing you saying, well, great, this is where we live and go for it.
Yeah, yeah. And I was the second oldest. So, it was like with one more kid out of the house, then my mom didn't have to take care of five girls, now it's down to four girls.
Right, right. Yeah,
But
exactly.
Jayne, you go do your thing.
Oh my gosh. It was and by the way, it was really interesting in the book too. You brought up and just for everybody out there, I am going to ask her a little bit about television shows as well because that's my channel. But
Okay.
but we'll get there. I loved how you went back and you kind of, retraced your family lineage a little bit, and you had the bill of sale for I think it was the initial farmland what was it was it your great
My great great
that's it.
grandfather, the bill of sale, not for the land.
Oh, not for the land.
No, the land had value. African American people did not.
Oh, this is for so wait,
They,
is this
he
for your
was
great
he
great
was
grandmother?
he was a slave.
Oh, wow.
He
Wow.
was a
Right.
slave. My great great grandmother, my great great grandfather were slaves.
And you took it all the way back because I remember that bill of sale. By the way, I had a question for you. This was a small little bit. It was in uh I think it's at the bottom of the bill of sale. You said her mother's name was Rose. She never saw her again.
Right.
But you put it as such a it's like such a quick little moment that most, like some people might not catch it. I caught it.
Mhm.
What who was he, like, do you know anything there, or
I don't know anything about Rose, and I
just
don't
that,
know
that
anything
that you
about
know
her.
that they saw and never saw her again?
Well, she was sold off from the plantation where she lived with her mother.
Oh,
Um, so she never saw her again. Nobody ever knows what happened to her.
wow.
Um, but she was sold from a plantation in Virginia to the Harrison plantation in South Carolina, where she met my great great grandfather, and they started a family. And so we have our family reunion every biannual since 1977, I believe, was the first one. And so every 2 years we have the Harrison family reunion. But when COVID disrupted,
Mhm.
everything sort of got sidetracked. But to be able to go back and talk to so many of the relatives, growing up, we traveled a lot. My dad still had a lot of family in Columbia area, Winsboro, Columbia, South Carolina. My mom in Danville, Virginia, and so we would go on vacations all the time, every summer to visit the relatives in Virginia and in Columbia,
You
and
said
in
they
some
had big tobacco farms?
in yes, Virginia,
Yeah.
Virginia. My family in Virginia. Um, my my uncle, who will be next month will be 104, still
Oh,
farms his tobacco.
oh, come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
he has
Maybe
a
that's why he's 104, because he's still doing it.
exactly. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's pretty darn cool. That really is. Yeah, it was very interesting. That whole, the way that you broke everything down. It was really raw. And I really love that. There was no you didn't sugarcoat anything. I mean,
not yet.
and you don't have to, I don't want to give everything away in the book, but I mean, there are moments that really hit. And I mean, one of the big ones is your father's mother. I mean, that one I wasn't ready for, I'll be honest with you. I'm reading the book, and suddenly I mean, it just hits. It's like, and he runs back to the house, and there she is lying, having been shot, and she's he's holding her.
Right.
I was a heavy moment, I got to tell you, Jayne, in the book. I mean, I'm honored to have read that, but it really I can't even, I was trying to wrap my head around. I'm always thinking, in my head, like, what would that be like? And I was thinking of your father because he obviously was a great man. I mean, I love the way you wrote about him. What did he, how did he explain it to you or tell you? Is it pretty much as you put it in the book?
Yeah, I put it in the book. It was he was only 10 years old when she died.
Oh, yeah.
And he had siblings that were younger than him. And one of his older siblings was in the army, so he was away. The other one traveled a lot, so he was away. And there were only three men in the family. My dad was the only man of the house at 10 years old. Um,
10 years old. I mean, we got to say that again. That's just crazy.
10 years old. His mother was shot three times in the back of the neck. And that was the turning point for the rest of his life. Um, he became a man that day because he had to. He had sisters that he had to care for. Um, in the South, it wasn't easy. Um, my grandmother was black. My grandfather was white, and they were not allowed to marry in the South. And so he was not there. Um,
Oh,
and he died shortly after she passed away. Um, And my dad took the responsibility of making sure that his family stayed together. Many people were saying you should put them up for adoption, you should give them all, let them go to different families, etc. But he said, no, I'm going to keep them together. And he quit school and he started working. He was only in fifth grade. He started working because he was a big guy. And it was extremely difficult.
That's
Nothing was easy. Not one thing was easy. And I knew these stories as I was a child, but I never knew the story about how his mother died until he told me when I was in my 50s.
oh my gosh.
And my dad's a very sensitive man. And we were both crying at that time. And I asked him, I said, why have you never, you told me, he's a huge storyteller. Um, so much so that, he'd start talking and people would say, oh my God, there he goes again.
I get it. I get it.
But everything, but I said, you have told so many stories. Why have you never told me this one?
Yeah.
Never. And he said, because it hurt too much.
Oh,
He said, every day I still smelled the blood.
oh man. Mm, mm, mm. Wow.
And
Well,
he raised all of his younger sisters. Some of them even went on to college.
how many did he have? How many?
There were 10 in his family, 3 boys and 7 girls.
He was 10 years old.
There was a 9-month-old baby when grandma was shot.
Oh my gosh. I know he was a bigger guy, but still 10 years old to take on that is you can't even put words on that. That's impossible.
He said to me after he said, because it hurt too much, he said, I had to become a man that day. And that that man that shot my mama took away every joy that a child was supposed to have. Every single joy that a 10-year-old is supposed to have in life was taken from me that day.
Hmm. Whew. That's a heavy one. And he became such a good man, by the way.
He was,
Um,
and he passed away 11 years ago,
mhm.
but he was the best.
I
His,
liked,
his faults. Um, but so many people came that I didn't even know he knew to the funeral. One of my high school friends, I said, you know my father? And they were all there to honor him. And the choir director from the school came and he started singing. One of the big things that we did in high school was every Christmas, at the end of the Christmas concert, they would sing, oh gosh, I don't remember the name of it.
do
Um,
you remember how it goes a little bit?
um, I don't know, it's a famous Christmas carol. And,
Yeah, yeah.
it's everybody, everybody's popular. We always sang it. Everybody always sang it at Christmas. So if you come back home for Christmas, you can come on stage and join the choir as an alumni and sing your part.
Oh, come on. How great is that? I love it.
Somehow had thousands of people on stage and off the wings and all in the bleachers
Wow.
singing the song. And it was an amazing time for me. But my dad, when he passed away, um, uh, um, our teacher, Mr. Leninsky, he came and he started singing, "May the Lord bless you and keep you." and he put his hand on Dad's heart. My dad died of a heart attack.
Mm.
He put his hand on Dad's heart and he started singing. And all of the friends from my class, my sister's classes, my brother's classes that were there, they all started singing just like we did when we came to the choir for Christmas. They all started singing in honor of my dad.
Mm.
And I will never forget that. I will never forget that.
Oh boy, that's a lot of love. Uh, that says a lot. Well, I was being sincere when I said you're raw in that book, and you are raw, and it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But um, no, I appreciate you sharing that. I really do. Um, I'll tell you something on a lighter note. Um, the because we both need it because I'm telling you, that's a hard one for me. This is it's just wild. But this morning, I'm a surfer, okay, and I was in the waves and I was surfing, and I came across the beach. And by the way, there's no one out there. Like, there's no one on the beach, really. It's kind of became a windy day. It was earlier. And I'm walking across the beach, and I'm not kidding you. This happened to me. I look down on the sand. There's nothing else there. It's not like I'm looking amongst all this stuff. It's just sitting there. And I swear to you, Jayne, this is what I found. This little pyramid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it paper?
No, it's a little plastic pyramid. Okay.
Okay.
And I passed it and I looked back and then I looked back again. It just was weird because I read your book and I read what the pyramids mean to you and the whole psychic journey that woman gave you about. And I looked back and I was like, okay, this is bizarre that I'm finding this pyramid on the sand, nothing else there, and I'm interviewing you today. It was very weird. It was there's times in your life when little markers come up. Now, this is a physical little marker, but there's times. And
It's true.
yeah, and it really hit me. And I just wanted you to know when I saw that, I was like, I got to show Jayne. That's just crazy. So um, I would like to talk a little bit about that, by the way, because that was pretty cool. You're leaving. I mean, I don't want to give the whole story away, but maybe you can just tell a little bit. You met somebody reached out to you, right, before you went on that trip to Egypt, and it was a woman about something like you didn't even know her, right?
I never knew her. No. She actually, okay, so the trip happened in 1982. In 1972 was the lady that reached
Oh, oh my
out.
gosh.
It was a span of time.
Yeah.
But I was on the Dean Martin show, and she saw me dancing on Dean Martin's show, and she's a psychic. And I don't know if you actually call her a psychic, but um,
Did she
into
consider herself a psychic?
I'm trying to remember.
Mhm.
She does psychic regressions.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe that's correct. Okay. So anyway, I got in my fan mail a letter from this woman, and she had called and asked them to make sure that, I would definitely receive it. So, because sometimes you just don't get the fan mail, and sometimes, it's just a lot to go through.
Oh, I
But
bet.
it did bring this particular piece to my attention. And she called and said that she would like to have a meeting with me. And, I heard this. I have no idea who this woman is. No,
Yeah,
no,
that can be a little scary
at
sometimes.
your house. No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. But
No.
she said- yeah, she said, I'm a psychic, and I have seen you in your past life. She said, I saw you. I've been watching you every week on Dean Martin's show and Dingling Sisters. And she said, and one day you just appeared to me in your former body. She said, and I saw you. So you started the dance, and then you transitioned into the person from your former self, um, your former life.
Hmm.
And she said you were the first handmaiden to the Queen of Egypt. And the tradition was that when someone high up in the royal family would pass on, the handmaid would be embalmed with them, would be entombed with them,
Hmm.
um, to carry their belongings into their next life. And so, and oftentimes these women were buried alive.
Wow.
Um, this handmaiden had been given the all of her jewels from her present life, and she was buried in the tomb with this queen. And she said that I was the handmaiden.
I mean,
And she said, and the jewels are mine. And she said they belong to you because if after the physical world, the value is there that goes with the soul, but not the actual jewels. But if the jewels aren't there, then the value can't travel with them, with that person either. So she said, but when she gave them to you in this life, she gave them to you. They are yours. She said, and
gosh.
she said, my friend is doing an excavation and they were pulling up a temple, a pyramid actually. And there were a lot of caves underneath, and they had found that there was another tomb um, somewhere not far from there. And they called this person that I was speaking with, and she said that that was the tomb where I was buried. And she had seen me on the show with some of the jewels on my arms when I was dancing.
Oh
And
my
she said,
gosh.
if you saw those jewels, you would recognize them, recognize them. Um, I started to wear a bracelet today that she said one of them is a diamond encrusted bracelet of a serpent with emerald eyes. And I was in a what are those shops called? Like
Like antiquities, something
no,
like
no.
that.
If you bring in your goods and you want to sell them, it's like a secondhand shop.
Like a pawn shop. Yeah.
No, it wasn't a pawn shop. It's a they hang up the clothing and everything.
Oh
It's
yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're talking about. I was going to say thrift, but I don't know if it's quite that. It's I know what you mean. My wife's done it.
There's a really nice one here. And I
Yeah.
just went in one day and there was a bracelet just like she had described it. So I had to buy it. I had to buy
Oh
it.
yeah, of course you did. Yeah.
So I don't know what it means, but I bought it.
Wow.
And I was going to wear it today, but I did not.
Oh, okay, that's wild. That would have been really wild. Yeah. So what happens then? Then what happens?
I told her I had heard that if something happened to the person that puts you under when they request you, like if she has a heart attack or whatever, that person is the only person that can bring you out. I didn't know if it was true or not. I didn't even research if it was true or not, but I wasn't willing to take the chance.
I don't think so. I'd be so nervous. I can't even tell you. I swear. Oh,
I said, no. She said, but these jewels are yours and they're excavating and they need your approval because this is your tomb and you are alive. If you're passed away, they would need the approval. She said, but I know where it is. So anyway, that conversation, I never followed up on it. I told her I would call her back, but I did not.
yeah. I mean, I kind of understand. I mean, there's part of you that was probably interested in the other part. It's like so creepy.
I was very
Yeah,
interested because I'd
sure.
always felt like Africa was calling me home.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always felt like that. So anyway, then the very next day, I go to a print shop in Hollywood, and I know the guy. I'd always gone in there to get my printing done, and so Oh, and she gave me her card. She said, "So if you ever need something, call me." I put it in my wallet.
Yeah.
Um, I'm walking into this store, copy shop, and I see this guy, and he's staring at me. And he's just staring at me, just like,
Oh boy.
And it made me feel really creepy. So I went to
Yeah,
my
yeah.
brother and I said, like, can I just stay here for like a half hour in your back storage room or whatever, and wait till this guy leaves? And I don't want him to, like be outside or follow me or anything like that. I want to. So he said, yeah. So he brought me some coffee. We sat there. We talked for a while. Half hour goes by, and I go out to my car, and there's a note on my car from him, and it says, I do psychic regressions, and I have seen you at a tomb in Egypt.
Oh my gosh, is
If
this
you would like
gross?
to, if you would like to know more about it, give me a call. Now, first thing I thought, how did he know that was my car?
Oh wow, that's a good point. Yeah.
Second thing was back to back.
Yeah.
This is a message.
Yeah, I hear you. That's really creepy. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
But
never went.
you never did anything though.
I never did, and I kind of regret it, but I kind of like, no, you did the right thing. I still don't know.
I think you did the right thing just because even though I'd love to know, I also, I don't know. It's that's pretty intense. Yeah. What so then okay, so 10 years goes you go forward, suddenly you're going to Egypt.
Yes.
And what happens? What are you feeling?
Okay, so I get off the plane. I was really tired. It was just after we had gone to the con festival, and I figured when we were in Europe, we would go to Egypt, Cairo, to be specific, and Rome and Greece.
Hmm, great. Wow, what a trip.
Nice trip, right?
Mhm.
So, and then come back to LA because, I just never had a passion to go to Europe. I've always wanted to go to South America or China, East Asia, Africa. I just never had like an inkling to go to Europe.
Yeah.
But some said I'm right there, may as well, let's knock it out right now, right?
Yeah.
So Egypt was the first stop. And we were exhausted. My ex-husband and I, we were exhausted from the Cannes Film Festival. And we got in late. It was at night. They didn't pull up to the tarmac. I mean, the gate. They pulled up on the tarmac. And so you got those stairs that you have to walk down to, and then walk over to the tarmac. Walk over, I'm getting it all mixed up. Walk across the tarmac, up the stairs, into the gates.
Yeah.
I'm very tired. I'm carrying my carry-ons. And the moment my foot touched the ground in Egypt, it felt like roots sprang through my feet and up into my body.
Oh my.
People gonna think I'm crazy. You got me talking back to back about these weird things.
Oh, whatever. Please, anybody's watched my show, there's a lot of things that you just go, okay, that's wild.
But
This is
I
cool.
felt better than I've ever felt in my entire life. I was totally rejuvenated. I felt like I just got attached to the soil.
Oh my gosh, is
I
that
just felt
wild?
like it was a part of me, like I was a part of it. And I said, God, this is home. I'm finally home. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm in Africa, and it just, oh my God, I will never forget that feeling. I will never ever forget that feeling.
Oh,
Never.
that's cool. Did you have any of that, what had happened 10 years before, go through your mind at all at that point?
No, no, no. I was just it was like a rush and it just went all over me. And I
Wow.
didn't think about anything. I just like reveled in the feeling.
Oh, wow.
The next
Wow.
morning, waking up to morning prayer and then going through the temples and the mosque. And I was always a King Tut fan. So I'm going, I went to the museum, which is far better than the traveling
I
exhibit.
would have loved to have seen that. I saw the traveling one. I didn't
I
see
saw
that.
the
That's cool.
traveling one, but this one was way better. And
Wow.
then we went down the Nile, or up the Nile, and we went to our Karnak Temple, and you could see the layers of the generations and generations of cities that are piled on top of each other. As
Oh,
the sun wipes in and comes in and buries everything and you build up again. Sun comes, buries everything and you build up again. And so when they excavate it, you see all those levels of those houses in the sand.
that's
And it's really creepy and beautiful. And then we went to visit King Tut's tomb. Um, I could have stayed there forever.
wow.
It was very warm. It was very inviting. Um, and like I when you know you're a home,
Hmm.
there's a certain feeling about that. As a white person, I would assume that you know that feeling when you're home,
Yeah, I
when,
understand what you're saying.
from your roots.
Hmm.
As African American people, we're not blessed with that very often.
Hmm.
So to have had this opportunity of actually home, feeling home where I belonged, nothing in the world
Wow.
compared to that. And then the opportunity that some of the things that have happened after that that have led me to, when my daughter was born, my firstborn daughter, Savannah, and she was maybe a year old, and I would take her with me everywhere I traveled all the time. I was never home.
Yeah, you
Well,
were gone like all the time. I was blown away because like you were doing one pageant or doing this, doing that. I mean, you were constantly going. Yeah.
all the time. And so when my daughter was born, I took her with me.
Yeah. That's a gift right there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was doing an event for Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and they had maybe close to 100 pastors there. Um, and we were in the holding room in the back, and uh, um, Dr. King's wife was there, and she was holding on to Savannah. And I got a picture of her holding on to Savannah.
Oh, I'm so glad you said you got a picture, by the way.
Yes, I did. Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
I had to get that picture. So that one I. Truly cherished.
Oh, yeah.
And then I happened to mention to the president that I had been so busy I hadn't had Savannah baptized yet. And he says, "Well, we can do that right here. We can do that right here." So all of the pastors, like in Lion King, where they
Yeah.
come and put their hands on the shoulders of the one in front of them, and they're lifting up in the middle of the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They lifted Savannah up in the middle of the room, and all of these pastors are laying hands on her, row after row after row after row, and they're all praying for her.
Oh, wow.
I think of the blessings that I've had in my life, and I said I could have never planned this. That's why I know some of the things that I do, I must do.
Hmm.
I feel that I must do because there's a purpose, and I've been trying to find that purpose for so many years. I nearly died when I was in Hawaii performing with the Dean Martin show. I was on a beach, got caught in an undertow.
Hmm.
I had made a mistake of going in the water with my hair down, and my hair got caught in the goggles. Couldn't see. I didn't know it was top or bottom. I was just turning up and down, up and down.
Petrifying. Petrifying.
I knew I was going to die. I just knew that was it. There was no one else with me. Um, and a guy came and grabbed my hand out of nowhere and pulled me not far from away from where I was to this huge boulder in the water that was just picking up out of the ocean. And so we sat there and he helped me get my breath, calm me down, um, get the hair out of my goggles,
Yeah.
put he braided my hair for me.
He braided your hair as well.
He braided my hair for me.
Wow.
And then he said, "You have to learn about the colors of the water, and that way you'll know how deep the water is." And he says, "And you can never swim by yourself." I said, "I was with a partner, but he took off without me. And I was there by myself. He didn't know that I was in trouble." And he said, well, I'm going to hold your hand and I will bring you into shore. So he held my hand, get to shore where you can just about, you're still in the water, but you can stand at the water's like at
Mhm.
your knee. So I stand up, I drop his hand, and I turn and I look out at the ocean, thinking I could have died. I turned back around and he was gone.
Oh, is that crazy? Like gone, gone? Like no, no, like you don't see anybody.
There was nobody else on the beach except for my two friends who were sitting far away because it was around six-ish. So a lot of times, people are on vacation, they go and that's when that's getting ready for dinner hour and stuff like that. So the beach was fairly empty where we were. And it was a big beach, but he was nowhere to be seen. And so I called my mom that night
Mm.
and I told her what happened. And she says, Jayne, you didn't die because you have a purpose and you haven't done your purpose yet. She said, everybody has a purpose. And she says, and you haven't done your purpose yet. So that's why your angel saved you.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I mean, that really is crazy. I mean, it's wild.
So
Did
there
you,
is stuff in the book that doesn't involve stuff like that.
well, that's okay. I know, and we'll get into it, Jayne, but I'm happy I found that moment quite amazing. Do you feel like, look, I mean, whatever. Anybody can look at this and go woo woo or whatever, or, it is God. It's not all, whatever. Everybody can have their opinion, whatever. But I want to know, do you feel in your heart that the person was real or possibly was, an angel in essence that came and because you must have felt a physical presence, I imagine, at some point.
It to me, it was a physical presence. It was a person,
Hmm.
but it was an angel
Yeah.
because you cannot disappear like that. I
No.
only turned around and turned back.
Mm.
And so how far can he go
Yeah.
on an
Right.
empty beach?
Yep.
He was gone.
No, I hear you. Um, it's by the way, I know how amazing that is that he saved you. I have a friend and I lost him about 5 years ago to that exact same thing, and he did not survive. And he was in Hawaii, and the undertow took him, and that's exactly what happened. So that's not I mean, what you say is dead on true that you could have died. I mean, no doubt. So that's pretty amazing that
Yeah.
you did come through like that. God, incredible stories they are. But you know what? I'm glad that you're sharing them because we'll go into some career stuff right now. But that's what I like about the book. The book is not just fluff. It is very honest, very real, very deep. You don't take a paragraph to express your emotion. You might take 3, 4 pages. And I appreciated that. You know? I liked it. I liked that you did that because it wasn't I felt like I was real, it's like when you're trying to say something and you're trying to just talk it out. I felt some of that within you and so that I got the real feeling. I didn't get you know, I don't know, fluff. That's the best way I can put it. So I thought it was great, Jayne. I really did.
Appreciate
Um, yeah, you got it. So your big break, I should say, your break, let's say that, is Rowan and Martin Laugh-In, actually. By the way, George Schlatter has been on my show, and he is a great man. And I've actually met George and gone to his office, and we've sat and talked. And he is just a really good man. He's a
He's
good
one.
guy.
Yeah.
But I was reading the story. How did that I mean, that was another amazing moment. It's like it was
Yeah.
yeah,
Like who'da thunk, right?
right. I mean, it's just that was just when you put it in the book, I was like, can you tell me a little bit about that? Like how you got that moment? I mean, it's
Well, I mean, I was my first job here. I was a receptionist for a legal firm in Century City, and I was living in Pasadena. And if you know LA, you know that nothing is very close.
Wow.
So, it's a challenge to go from one place to the other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, and so I'm working as a receptionist, must have been my second week.
Mhm.
I just landed in LA a month before.
Wow.
And met Lamont Macklemore he was performing at the Greek Theater. And or was it the Hollywood Bowl? Hollywood Bowl. He was probably performing at the Hollywood Bowl with the Fifth Dimension.
Yeah, they were huge then.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, they were huge back then.
Yeah.
And my ex-husband said, hey, let's go to we know some of the people, let's go, So I think he called Billy Davis and they got backstage passes for us. And we went to the show, um, went backstage and met Lamont. He said he's going to introduce me to some people in California. So a few weeks later, he called and he said that Byron Gillum, who was the choreographer on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, he said he'd be willing to sit down and chat with you and see if maybe there's something that he can help you with. It wasn't coming up for a part or anything. There was no opening for a dancer or whatever.
Right.
We were just going to take some time and sit and chat. And what I learned quickly about Hollywood is it's all in who you meet.
Yes.
Um, it's not about going to auditions as much as who you meet and who you know.
Yep.
So it was a huge part of a lot of other things that happened in my life as well. But he did introduce me too. So I'm on stage. I'm in this on the set at NBC Studios, and there was no audience there. They were pre-taping some of the segments. And so, I don't have in my work clothes. I was working as a receptionist in a legal, so I'm not Hollywood at all. I'm just
Right.
secretary girl, right? And I knew that I'd probably be too late to get back to the office. I'd only been there 2 weeks. They're going to fire me.
Totally. Totally.
But I said, this is why I came here. I may as well go take this, right? So I'm sitting there in the audience waiting for them to get their break. And a guy came over to me and he said, do you dance? And I said, I had no idea who he was. And
Right.
he was a big guy, big belly, and he's,
Yeah.
just jolly face, right? And I looked at him and said, yeah, I'm thinking I'm a black girl. Yeah, I can dance. Yeah, what kind of dance you talking about? Nobody asked me if you took dance lessons. They just said, can you dance?
Right. Right.
Yeah, he said, oh, great. And he grabbed my hand and he dragged me over on the stage. And he said, stand right there on the X on the floor. And he says, and when the lights go on, you do this. When the lights go off, you do this. And he said, and then when the red light, you stop and you freeze. Let the talent say their line and then you dance again. So I said, okay, I can do that, right? I'm dancing in my secretary outfit.
My gosh.
On the side that they're dressed in all these weird stuff,
Oh yeah, and it's laughing. They always had like wild
all the wild
colors.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so then after that take was over, he came back over. He said, "You were great. You were great. Fantastic." He said, "Can you come back next week?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, you're hired for the season." Yeah, my first job. I was hired for the season. He said it turned out it was George Slaughter, the producer of the show.
Unbelievable. I mean, seriously, unbelievable moment.
And I never did meet Byron Gillum.
Oh, is that hysterical?
My job the
Wow.
next day. I quit my job the next day. And I just started working.
That's
Um,
just crazy.
Next thing I knew, Smokey Robinson was a good friend of Leon's, and he would come into LA quite often, and he was doing a TV special with Bob Hope. So he craved home cooked food when he was on the road.
Hmm.
Um, so whenever he came to LA, we would pick him up at the airport, take him to the house, yeah, food, do
You're a
his
good cook too, it sounds like. I took
yeah,
that away in the
I'm a
book.
great cook. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't cook very much anymore though, but yeah, I love to cook. Yeah, loved to cook.
Right, right, right.
So what was I saying?
Oh, you were just saying Smokey's in town, so you went to home cooked meal. And you got Bob
Yes, yes,
Hope.
yes.
Yep.
So I go to the airport, pick Smokey up, and meet Leon. We come back and we meet Leon at the NBC studios. And we're Leon's in Smokey's dressing room. I'm in the audience seats. Just, there's no audience there. There's just Smokey's gonna tape a segment. And so I'm just sitting there waiting, and Bob Hope came over to me. And I'm going, first of all, my mind has just blown, right?
Exactly. That's Bob
Very
Hope.
cool. I'm trying to, and he's from Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, he's from Ohio,
Oh, that's right. Yep. Yep.
So, I'm trying to stay cool. He comes over, he says, how would you like to go with me on my Bob Hope Bases Around the World Christmas tour?
Sorry. Come on.
And I said, well, okay, this is to show you how naive I was at that time. I said, well, I already went on the audition last week and they turned me down. And as soon as I said it, I'm going, beat myself up. I'm saying, why would you tell him you failed already?
Right. Right.
So he said, let me put it a different way. I want you to go on my Christmas tour with me.
Wow.
And I'm saying, in my head, I'm going, why? You don't know me.
Yeah.
You know, we've never even met. You just came over and asked me a question.
Exactly.
So, and he said, then he yells over to his manager and he says, put her on the tour as one of the Hollywood Dev stars. And then he turns back around to me. He said, we leave in 2 weeks.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
Wow. I mean,
turns
I mean,
out,
that's crazy.
turns out there was a backstory and how that happened. But I'm going to save it for whoever is listening.
You got it.
They can read the book for
For
how that.
the book. Yes. I love it though. Those are great moments. A couple other things. I mean, you have a lot of different ones, but you had a special relationship with Muhammad Ali, and which, by the way, I wanted to let you know, it's a very small world out here. Ernest Thomas. I don't know if you remember Ernest Lee Thomas. He's from What's Happening.
Oh
He
yeah.
Yeah, Raj played Raj. I actually had lunch with him just a couple of days ago, believe it or not. And I said, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to be interviewing Jayne Kennedy," and and I said and he said to me, actually, I didn't even mention Muhammad Ali yet, and he said, which he was close with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali helped him out when he was literally down to nothing, like he had no money, nothing. He helped him out. He tells a great story, by the way, in the interview, but he helped him out literally financially. And he said, so he would hang out with Ali at times. And he said, Ali thought extremely highly of Jayne. He mentioned her multiple times when I was with him. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you that that was stated as well. Um,
Okay.
but what why do you think you were so close with him? Like what do you think that what was that connection that drew you so tight with Muhammad Ali? Because it felt like it wasn't just a casual like, why don't you join my entourage? Sounds like you had a real connection together.
We did. And Leon was good friends with him as well. Um, my ex.
Yeah,
And
right.
he would invite us, he invite us to throw the Thriller in Manila.
I couldn't even believe that when I read that.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, this is 1975, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
so huge.
1975. And I remember when Leon and I first started dating, back in Cleveland, Ohio in 71. Um, he took me go see when he fought Joe Frazier, and it was the first one of those live pay-per-view giants jumbo screens, and they were in certain cities around the country. You could go, buy tickets to go see
Yeah.
it.
Oh no, I remember that time period really well. Yeah, it was cool.
I went to go see him at that. I see him fight. And but that was on the jumbotron, and I just had so much respect for who he was as a person.
Hmm.
But then we came to Los Angeles, and one of the places that it's all about, like I said, connections and knowing where to be at the right time and doing the right kinds of thing. It's not just about auditions, as I said. So there was a convention. Trying to think of what the name of it was. But there was a convention, an industry convention, and we said, well, this is a must go. This they sell a lot of TV shows here, so there's a lot of producers, a lot of network executives at this convention, and so we went. And we're browsing, and then we hear someone mention Ali is on the third floor in the suites. So naturally, Leon and I look at each other. Let's go listen to this. See what he's saying. Let's go see if we can get in, right? So we get to the door, and people are all in the hallways. It's just a suite, right? And people are in um, cameras are everywhere, reporters are everywhere, and they're all trying to get into the door of this suite, trying to, it wasn't a large suite. I don't even think it was a I think it was just a single bedroom suite. There wasn't like any space at all. As people
Yeah,
were
yeah.
cramped. And we were peeking in, like, trying to look over the heads and everything. And you could see Ali was sitting there. It's a dresser drawer, and he's sitting on the dresser drawer, holding court to all of the people. And some are sitting on the floor listening with their legs crossed. Some are sitting on the bed, and others standing up in the back. And they're trying to, interview him, and he's just having fun. And so we walk in, and we're tiptoeing as we're trying to look over the people standing in front of us in the doorway. And he sees me and he says, "There's that dingling girl."
My gosh. Wow. Wow. You must have just been floored.
I'm going like, "Where?"
Right? Yeah.
And he said, "Come sit
Wow.
with me. Come sit with me." And so I'm sitting on the dresser with him.
Oh
That's the
my
first time I
gosh.
met him. First time we both met him.
Did you hit it off right away?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because then, later he invited us to a couple of events, and then he invited us to be part of his entourage in the Philippines. Um, there was a whole plane full of people that flew here to San Francisco to the Philippines.
Wow.
Ferdinand,
Marcos?
yes,
Yep.
Marcos,
And Imelda?
and Imelda in all of her shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, they had invited, they wanted to have an entourage. They paid for the whole thing, to bring all these people over, so that people can see that they had ties with America. And so we're there, we're hanging out, having a great time. I mean, we're there for almost 2 weeks.
Come on.
Yeah,
Wow.
going to the weigh-ins, going to the press conferences, or going to Punta Baluarte, the resort, meeting the Ayala family that built the city of Makati.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
we went to the president's castle. They invited us to dinner. And no, I didn't get to see Imelda's shoes. Um,
You did see them. You did see the
I
shoes?
I did not.
Oh, you
Did
did not. Okay. I was like, wow. Okay.
not. But the whole event was amazing. But I go into more detail in the book.
I
But
understand. I totally understand. Well, Ali has always been, I mean, I just think he's amazing. I mean, he's just an icon. It's just that easy. The fact that you got to know him on that level is pretty cool. Um, well, this is not in the book, by the way, but I do have something I wanted to ask you because my channel focuses heavy on television and movie celebrities. So I wanted to ask you about if you remember being on any of the shows that would have been, I guess, well, definitely before the NFL today. So it would have been like Starsky and Hutch,
yes,
as I had mentioned earlier. Do you recall being on there?
yeah,
Yeah. What was that experience like for you?
I had one line,
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
one line where I went,
Uh,
they killed me.
I gotcha. Fair enough. Did you meet Paul Michael Glazer or David Soul at the time, or were they part of that
No, they
scene?
weren't there that night.
I love it.
It was a night scene. I came out of like a 7-Eleven shop, corner shop, and thought I heard something, and so I'm a little hesitant, and I'm walking, I've gotten my keys in my hand, and I'm walking in the dark to my car, and I get to the car, and I put the keys in, the keys drop because I'm nervous, and I go to pick it up, and the guy comes over and he kills me.
Oh my gosh. Wow. For a one-liner, that's a lot going on.
A lot
Wow.
going on. Yeah.
I gotcha. What about the Love Boat? Do you have recollections of that with
Love Boat was
Halston?
amazing. Love Boat, I did two of them. I did one with hmm, I'm so bad at
Well,
names.
there
John
was one with Halston
Amos.
and Gloria Vanderbilt. I know that one.
Yes, and the other one I did with John Amos.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So John Amos was a former football player, and we meet on the Love Boat and fall in love. That was really fun. Then the other one was uh, it wasn't the Valentine one. It was this year's model. It was called This Year's Model.
Mhm.
And they had all of these famous models and designers coming in. This was a 2-hour special.
Oh my gosh.
So this one, they went all out on this one. I was just so honored to be part of it. Because they called me and I had already done the first one. They called me in to do this one again. And they've got, I mean, celebrities out the yin yang. Um, and like I said, even the Halston girls were brought in. But they've got all the training to do this upcoming fashion. Honors during the tour is looking for the next it girl to be their brand
Yeah.
ambassador. So all the models are trying to, warm up to him so that they can be picked because that's a huge contract. And
Yeah.
so everybody wanted to be that girl, And my roommate was the one that ended up being asked that my roommate on air
Yeah. Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
one that ended up he liked her, so he would date her from time to time, right? And they would go to dinner, and I would get all the skinny of what was going on and everything. And I'm hanging out with Ted Lange at the bar, and we had a great time. I love the designs that I wear. Oh my God. And then some of the things that I wore, like I wish I had the footage of the show because it was just so much fun doing that show. It was just fabulous, and you're on they constructed these huge stages
Wow.
for the show, for the dinner that was supposed to be on the boat, and it was just a lot of fun, a lot of fun. I would go back to um, the wardrobe room. We had so many changes. So, like sometimes years to come, if I had a special need for a special type of outfit, I would go to the wardrobe department and say, hey, can I borrow that? Whatever, the piece that I wore, whatever.
That's
And
too cool.
yeah, I did that. So I did a cover of Jet magazine for their Christmas edition,
Mhm.
and they wanted a top hat and tails. So I remember we wore one on the Dean Martin show, and it was a gorgeous set. And so I went back to the wardrobe department at NBC and I say, we want to use this for a cover for Jet magazine. And they said, of course. So they went through all of their files and they found it. And they brought it out for me in a top hat, black tux, black rhinestone, bedazzled swimsuit type thing and me tapping my hat, Happy New
Oh
Year
my gosh.
magazine. So yeah, there's some of those smaller stories, like the shoe shine guy uh,
Yes.
at NBC. Those I never forget, the smaller stories.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the book, you say how that guy, what you meant to him. I mean, I love that, your accomplishments. That's huge. Um, the so look, the other thing in it, I always feel like this is one of those where it's like the elephant in the room, however you want to put it. But obviously, the tape that got let out that basically shifted your whole life, more or less. What what, I guess what I was trying to figure out is, look, I know that it was devastating to you when that tape came out, and um, anyone that doesn't know what I'm referencing, I don't know the year. You might know that year better, Jane, than I do, but There was a tape that was stolen, literally stolen out of your husband's, your ex-husband, I should say, his safe that showed consensual uh, uh, lovemaking between you and your husband. I mean, it's just that easy. And it was a different time, obviously, than now. Now, if that happened, it's like, oh, another one, but not then. Uh, you and your present husband, Bill Overton, who, by the way, sounds like a great guy. Um, that
Yeah,
yeah, you
it's 2 weeks from now will be our 40th wedding
oh
anniversary.
my gosh, that's so cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I love hearing that. I do. That's a love story. That is a love story, big time there.
So do
Um,
you.
yeah. So what I was trying to figure out, Jane, is look, the tape gets released and obviously it devastates you. What did you did now it sounded like a lot of people have, said, "Oh, I can't be around Jane now." Welcome to Hollywood. But did you also feel like you just said, explain to me, I guess, what did you do? Did you just shut down? Did you shut off? What were you going through when it happened that you kind of went through a period where you were not seen?
When I was not seen by the public.
Yeah, where you just made that decision like, look, I'm not going out. I'm not gonna be everywhere like I was. Now I'm gonna stay home, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, I mean, it was a long time since we had divorced, um, when it was stolen. Um, and neither of us had even really thought about it. He put it in the safe because when we divorced, it would have been destroyed. The whole idea was that it was going to be something that we were going to look at together on our 50th wedding anniversary.
Hmm.
That was the initial intent. Um, but we divorced, forgot about it, and years later, someone broke into his safe and looking for jewelry and money and found the tape. And I guess thought that that was more valuable and left everything else and took the tape.
Oh, I didn't realize they left everything else. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. And it was a watch that I had bought for him in Italy when we went to Cannes. And I'm sorry. I talk about it in the book, but I'm still uncomfortable talking about it.
Anything
But
you're uncomfortable with, Jane, I'm okay with not talking about if you don't want to. If you don't would rather not talk about it at all, I'm okay with that. I'm not the last thing my show is about is scandal, to be quite frank with you. I like people to leave with an understanding or some level of positivity. So if you are, we'll just drop it.
I included it in the book because it was important to me to not be seen as hiding.
Hmm.
I wanted to be open. I wanted this to be a story of my life. And that was a significant part of my life
Hmm.
because it changed the trajectory of everything that I did for the next 20 years. Um, I went into hiding.
Hmm.
Uh, my choice was to go into hiding, which was probably not the right choice.
Now, is there a right or wrong choice though at that moment? Come on. That's hard. That seems hard on yourself, to be honest. I mean, I'm just saying that as an outsider, I mean, who can judge that, Come on. In that moment.
Well, I tried to be public, but it hurt too much. And um, I remember I went to an event just after that, and I just kept thinking ever, how you have like that thing in your mind, that person in your mind that's just digging, digging, digging at you.
Oh, for sure. That voice is right there. Yeah.
This isn't, have they seen it? Have they seen it? Have they seen it?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Every face, have they seen it? Have they seen it? Have they seen it? And a friend of mine, Cindy Gossett, she used to be married to Lou Gossett Jr. And Cindy Gossett came over to me and she just held me. She didn't say anything. She just held me. And we both started crying. And she just held me for like 5 minutes. And then I knew that I had to leave. I couldn't stay.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I had two daughters that were born, that had already been born. A lot of people thought that, it was like something that happened like right after we were divorced. Like he did it just to be, he was mad because I divorced him. First of all, I did not divorce him. He divorced me.
Hmm.
Second of all, it was almost 10 years later.
Yep.
So, no, that did not happen. So, and one of the reasons I put it in the book is because there were so many misconceptions and so many people telling lies that they believe that this is the truth, oh, I know what happened, I know what happened, and they don't.
Hmm.
So I felt that if I was going to be honest in my life, I have to be able to conquer this. Um, and it nearly destroyed me.
Yep.
My family saved me because in hiding with my family, I had two children, like I said, and then 2 years later, I had another child, and I had a stepdaughter. So with four daughters, I became the mom.
Yeah, like the mom. Yeah, yeah. But that's, you know what? Hey, I'm not trying to take anything away, but that's the positive side of that story is,
That's the best side of
yeah,
it.
you got the time with them that you may never have actually really experienced.
The last day that I was on the road, the last year that I was on the road, I was only home 28 days out of the entire year.
Okay, that's no, 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 no. Not when you've got, yeah, when you especially when you have these beautiful daughters. I mean, look, I'm not happy that that happened to you, and I wish it hadn't. But you know, that is one, like you said, that's the beautiful side of that story, though. That connection you have with your daughters has to be unbelievable.
It's incredible. And I didn't know how I was going to tell them as they grew up.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't even put that together. You're right.
that was the hardest part. How was I ever going to face this with my daughters? How were they going to deal with it if somebody at school said something to them?
Hmm.
How, it's always the questions that lurk in your mind that are more powerful than anything else. And then finally, when Mayor Bradley died, um, and my daughter Savannah was 10, and we went to the funeral, and it was at First Amy Church,
Hmm.
and Stevie Wonder sang. Um, there were politicians and dignitarians from everywhere, not only city, state, but nationally nationwide as ever, as well. Okay, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
nationwide as well.
he was a great man, though. I mean, he
He was a
was.
wonderful man.
Yeah.
I was a big supporter of his. I
Hmm.
campaigned for him. I worked together with him many, many, many times. He not even just as a mayor, but he was a dear friend of mine.
Hmm.
And so I had to be there, right?
Sure,
But
of
so
course.
I'm there and I'm looking and Zaire's on one side, and then we've got Senator so and so here and Ambassador so and so here. And it dawned on me, and I said, like, what if something happened to me and I never had the opportunity to tell my daughters myself?
Wow.
And so we went to lunch after that, and I told her. And she looked at me, and all the time I was thinking, like, what are they going to think of me?
Yeah.
She looked at me at 10 years old and she grabbed my hand. She said, Mommy, we got you.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, and then those, I mean, that had to also feel good for you to release a little of that weight, you know? I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's big. Jayne, I'm telling you, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Your book I mean, and by the way, I really appreciate you opening up with me on the level that you are. This is heavy stuff, I really am sincere on that. I really appreciate you feeling comfortable enough to tell me that. But also, the book is like this. The book is, I said it from the start, and I mean it. It's very raw. It's very personal. It's very heartfelt. It's very inspirational. But not everybody lets it open up on that level. Other people that have written their memoirs or whatever, and you do, and I think that that's something that you should be very proud of because anybody reading this, if they don't walk away inspired or realize what it takes to just be, you know, ho- honest or go on a journey like you did, I'd be very surprised. I mean, I certainly was inspired. There was another moment in the book, by the way, and it was kind of like the moment in Hawaii where it was I might be getting his last name wrong on this, but I think his name was Pastor Jenkins. And he
Yes.
was at a small church. And by the way, I live in LA, but I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Milwaukee. So I know the valley and I know all, I know the areas we're talking about. But that was a wild story, Jayne. I mean, that's another one where you kind of threw me. I'm gonna be really honest with you. Yeah, you kind of. I mean, when that ended, I was like, "What? Wait, what? How, where? What? How, who?" That was crazy.
Ooh, I was
Yeah,
that same way. What?
yeah. What? How did that happen? I mean, that was a really interesting moment in the book. So, am I correct on this? You're
I
driving,
know
and
how to,
you just happen to see a church.
yeah, I was going to the market and I just happened to see a church, a small, very, very small church. Um, and it was near the airport, near LAX. You know where Manchester goes from Playa
Like
Vista Boulevard.
La Tierra, like Manchester and La Tierra around there.
No, it's more towards the ocean.
Okay.
This is like what's the name of the high school that's over there?
Westchester?
What's
Uh,
not Westchester. Is it, no, no, no. It's a Catholic high school.
oh, Loyola Marymount?
No, that's a high sure, that's a
Oh,
college.
that's right. It's college. Oh boy. Yeah.
Anyway, it's in that neighborhood, Playa del Rey,
Hmm.
um, on Manchester.
I know where you're talking about, actually. I know that area real well.
I'm going towards Loyola Marymount. I'm going to the market on Sepulveda.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I passed by. There's a rec center on the right, on the south side of the street, and there was this little building this innocuous building that I had never really paid attention to before. But this particular night, there was a choir in there singing, and the doors were wide open and there was this yellow glowing light just pouring out into the street, right? And they were singing and singing was just gorgeous. And it was a Thursday night, so a lot of choirs practice on a Thursday night, right?
Sure,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, and so there's nobody else and you know, it wasn't church in session. It was just rehearsals. So I go there and I sit in the back of the church, and I don't know why. I was going to the market to get food for the kids, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I just made a quick U-turn and I went back to this church, and I'm sitting there in the back seat and I'm watching, I didn't get to hear Pastor Jenkins because there's just in choir rehearsal. And it just felt so warm and inviting. And then when Pastor Jenkins got up and he said, thanks, guys, see you Sunday, and everybody's filing out, and I waited for everybody to leave and I went up to him and I said, I need to talk to you. And we sat down for a few minutes and I mean, I don't know who he was. This is a total stranger.
Right.
I was
Right.
I was drawn by that glow that came out of the window. And I actually made a U-turn on this big big wide road. I had to go up, make a U-turn, and then come back all the way down. So it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like you turn in. And he was just, God just told me, this is the one. This is the
Mhm.
one. And I just poured my heart out
Wow.
um, about what was happening with the book. Um, I'd been hiding for 10 years. I didn't know how to go forward. I didn't know how to heal. I didn't know how to confront other people. I didn't know how to be myself anymore.
Hmm.
And I needed answers. But it wasn't just like that. I must have talked a good 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm crying, and he gave me a handkerchief and he said, these things do come in handy sometimes.
Yeah. Lighten it up a little bit. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so, he asked me a question and I talked again for another 20 minutes. And I said, he said, so what do you want? And I said, I need to forgive and I don't know how and I don't know who. And he said, well, would you like to talk about this? We can schedule some time over the next few weeks. And I, of course, said yes. And so maybe 6 to 8 weeks, we meet twice a week.
I mean,
And
unbelievable.
I would go and I would just talk, and he'd ask me questions and I would talk. And it was like going to therapy, you know.
Sure, sure.
And finally, he said, well, you know what? Have you ever thought about it's you that you have to forgive?
Mm.
And I said, no, that thought had never crossed my mind. Um, and it was like a light bulb went off.
Hmm.
And I said, well, I need you to show me how.
Hmm.
And we prayed, and we prayed. And um, God showed me how. I said, I felt better. I felt I had an answer. And I asked Pastor, I said, will we meet again on Tuesday? And he says, yeah, 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 we can still do that on Tuesday. I said, okay. So I come back next Tuesday, and the place is actually locked down and boarded up, like like it had never even been open.
Oh my gosh.
It was boarded up with these big planks that looked so old and everything, and nailed on crisscross across the front doors. And so I called him and there was no answer. I called for days, no answer. I called his wife. She said they'd been separated for months and months and she hasn't seen him in a long time. They don't talk to each other. And I never saw him, never talked to him again.
Oh my gosh.
But once he told me that I had to learn to forgive myself, that was my answer.
Mm.
And again, God had given me an answer. And it took a long time to learn how to do that. Um, it didn't just happen overnight just because he said it,
Hmm.
just because I was there and I said it. But part of that was going back to people that I had abandoned for the last 10 years and apologizing, confronting to them. Um, and But all of that time, it was my daughters who were saving me
Yeah,
until until I learned how to save myself.
it's pretty cool. I, the other side of that too is, talk about like an angel again. I mean, it's almost was he, you know what I mean? Like it's like the whole thing is just the
Where did he
start
go?
of the story, the ending of the story is just uh, it's just kind of crazy, you know?
Where did he go? And I never heard. I've called. The number's out of order now. I'm going, oh my God, I don't know where he went. I have no idea where he went.
Wow. I mean, that's crazy. Did he know who you were, by the way, when he met you?
No,
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Wow. Wow. Okay.
we talked about it later though.
Yeah. Very interesting. My last, because well, I could talk to you for a long time actually, but I could. I enjoyed you when I met you, and I'm enjoying talking to you now. But in the book too, I remember something else. You said at one point, it might have even just been one line, but you said that you believe in destiny.
I
And
do.
yeah,
That's one
uh,
line.
yeah, tell me, and that could be a big question, maybe. I don't know. But why? What is it that makes you believe in destiny? I'm not saying I don't, by the way, but I'm just curious, what is it that makes you believe in destiny?
Um, I'm trying to remember in what reference that was in the book and what chapter. But I do remember saying that because it said something, it was something to the fact of, it was destined to be, and then the next sentence, and yes, I do believe in destiny.
Yeah. There
And
was something about be better than me. There was something uh, um
that people are better than me.
yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
something along it was like right around that chapter. I didn't go chapter I didn't write down each chapter, but I remember that moment.
I always ask for people, kids, they come up and they say, "Oh, I want to grow up and be just like you." And I go, "No, no, 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 you want to be better than me. You can be." And I took a little girl by the side. I said, "Do you like medicine?" "Oh, yes." Her mom had told me she likes to be, she wants to be a doctor.
Yeah.
I said, "You know what? You can someday grow up to cure cancer. That would be so much better than me."
Hmm.
I said, never short, yes, you can have idols, but never limit yourself. Because, I wanted to grow up and be Shirley Chisholm.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look what I did.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and I saw this one girl, I was receiving an award for Black Enterprise magazine
Hmm.
and the Women of Power Legacy Award. And the morning of the award, I woke up feeling really good. Um, I hadn't talked to these people. I knew the father who created the who began the magazine,
Yep.
and now his son Butch Graves Jr. was running it. So I hadn't talked to them in a long time, but I'm there, and they asked me. They said, "Well, we want to honor you with the Legacy Award, but we want your children to come and watch you receive it."
Oh, see, that's cool. That's
Yes. So they
cool.
brought all my daughters in, and so they all were there, and I could hear them going, "Yeah, go mom, go mom," as they're walking up the stairs. And people, the reporters are asking him, "Well, did you know that your mom was Jayne Kennedy when no,
Right.
she was like soccer mom, pick me up from school mom, you know,
Right.
yeah, because I didn't work really when they were coming
Mhm.
up. So
Sure.
I wasn't that person. I wasn't running all over. I wasn't on TV. I remember one time when I was on TV and Savannah was well, okay, I don't mean to be only talking about Savannah all the time because the other two, the other three,
I think your daughters know that you love them all, so I think you'll be okay.
there's Cheyenne, my stepdaughter, and Savannah, my firstborn, Copper's my secondborn, and Zaire is my baby girl.
Right.
Um, and they're all amazing. That is probably the biggest blessing that came out of all of this.
Oh,
The fact that I have these amazing daughters. And if I hadn't been there to be part of their lives, who knows the direction that they would have taken. I think that, a lot of times you're born with those qualities. So they would have probably been fine. But, the fact that I was able to be there for them, um, is a huge accomplishment in my book. It's probably my best accomplishment that I've ever done in my life, is I
oh,
have these amazing daughters that I'm so proud of.
and the confidence that you instilled in them by being there. Come on. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, we were talking about the awards with that
Uh,
Savannah, or yeah, it was Savannah that was there, right? Yeah. And then and you were just saying that they were like, "Do you realize, that what your mom has done or whatever?" And she was just saying that you were just a soccer mom. You were the
oh,
yeah,
it's Copper. She says
right, oh,
they asked
Copper, yeah.
asked Copper, do you know, the legacy that your mom has and what she means to all of these people in this room? It's like 2,000 of some of the topics.
A lot of people.
And so Copper says, yeah, I know she was Jayne Kennedy, but she says, now I know what y'all been talking about.
I love that. I love that. By the way, Jayne, I mean, seriously, congratulations. What a moment for you to be in the Smithsonian Museum of
Yes.
African American History and Culture. I mean, seriously, you're from the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. You always hear about DC and the Smithsonian Institution and all that. And how wild was that to go with? I don't know if you went with daughters or one of your daughters, but you went and to look up on that wall and see your face next to, all these great Americans must have been kind of wild.
It was mind blowing,
Yeah, right.
to say the least. It was mind blowing. I got I was tagged on an Instagram post. A guy said his name is Brian, I believe, and he said, "Look what I saw yesterday," and it was when the Smithsonian had originally opened. It had just opened, right?
Yeah,
So it was a photo of me with Diana Ross. Um, gosh, my mind has just gone blank.
it's okay. There were a lot of them on there.
There were a lot of them, yeah, but
Nat King Cole. That's
Nat King
yeah.
Cole. There was me, Nat King Cole, Nichelle Nichols, Diana Ross, um, with the Supremes,
Yeah,
and
of
Don
course.
Cornelius, and one other. Anyway, there's on this wall, and it's talking about, you know, the people that were pioneers in the television media landscape. And he had taken the picture from the perspective of standing next to Don Cornelius, and my picture was on the far end. So, you know, the picture, you know, you see it in
Right,
spite
you're
of,
going all the way down. Yeah.
yeah, the perspective is showing me my picture is very small. And I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." I said, "This is incredible." And I didn't know him, you know, but I responded to him
Yeah.
on Instagram. I said, "When did you take this?" He said, "I was there yesterday." And I said, "Well, it's too bad you didn't take it from the other end so I could actually see me," right? The next day, he went back, took the it from the other end, and sent me the picture.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That had to just be, I mean, literally, that's just it's hard to wrap my head around that.
So you
It's
know what I had to do?
oh yeah, I know what you had to go.
I had to go.
Oh yeah.
I had to go see it myself.
So
Yeah.
what's it like? You go in there. Who were you with? Who were you with to go in there?
I was with my daughter Savannah and her husband Jairus, um, and the executives from the upper branch had taken me on the tour. So I walked into the Oprah Winfrey Theater, and it was in her exhibit, Television and Media Pioneers, put television and media landscape pioneers in the industry.
Okay.
Um, and so Savannah's taking video, and I walk in and I see it. I couldn't walk. I couldn't.
Mm.
All I kept, the first thing that went through my mind was how hard it was to get the job and
Yeah.
how many hoops I had to jump through to get the job because they did not want a Black woman on that desk.
Right.
They, most of the reporters did not want a woman on the desk, period. They
Sure.
certainly didn't want a Black woman on the desk. The CBS Southern affiliates were having issues with it, you know. So, you know, the fact that I was able to knock down that door, you know, that's
That's
huge.
big.
I just did a special for TNT network, conversations, a seat at the table,
Okay.
and it's a generational overview of women in sports broadcasting. So there was me and Taylor Rooks as the youngest one, Stephanie Reddy, and Pam Oliver,
Oh wow.
talking about the different generations in sports broadcasting for women. And but to see that there on that wall was just so mind blowing, so mind blowing. And
Yeah,
then
you're
so
there.
I had to
You're
go. Then I had to go touch it. You know, you're not supposed to touch. It's at the museum, right? I had to go touch it. I had to go touch it. And then there was Oprah Winfrey's quote right next to it. Oprah had told me I had consulted her about how do I talk about the tape
Hmm.
in the book, and when do I introduce that to my children, and how is that going to impact my children? So she was kind enough to give me some time. She was in LA. I contacted her office. They said she's in LA. She's got 20 minutes. So I raced over. I thought I was going to be early. I wanted to be there early. Of course, she was already there before me.
Of course.
Of course, right? So and
Yeah, it's
she's
Oprah.
sitting there eating a tray of shrimp. And so we sat down, and I know I've got 20 minutes, okay? We sat for 4 hours,
Oh my gosh.
4 freaking hours.
Wow. Wow. With Oprah one-on-one, just,
One on
oh
one,
man.
one on one with shrimp. Bunch of shrimp.
Oh, is that
It
funny?
was-
What?
it was-
Hey, that says so much about her right there. Come on. That's terrific.
She gave me so much advice. She just was, but she said, we used to sit around and watch you. Gail and I used to sit around and watch you on television. And we always said, color people on TV, color people on TV. And and she said that made them believe it, that if I could do it, they can do it too.
Oh, that's so huge. I mean,
And
look at
then
the,
look where she is. Look where she is now,
uh,
and like one of her producers of one of her shows in her early career, the co-anchor doing the same job as her was getting paid much more than she was.
yep.
And so she said, I don't think that's fair. She went to her boss. I don't think that's fair. I should be getting the same. And he said, why should you be getting the same? He's got a house. Do you have a house? She said, no. And the guy said, he's got kids. Do you have kids? She said, no. He said, then should you get the same amount? She said, because we're doing the same damn job.
Exactly. It's kind of logical.
So, that's she's taught me a lot. She's taught me a lot. As
Yeah.
she has with a lot of people.
Oh, she's helped so many people. It's crazy. And by the way, we're sitting here talking all these years later. Gail King, look where she went too.
Yes, 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 yes,
You
yes.
know, I mean, and by the way, she went to the moon, or not the moon. She went up into space and back. Come on.
Always wanted to do that.
Oh
I,
yeah, go up there. Oh yeah.
I mean, I would lie on my back and as a kid watching fireflies and looking at the stars and wondering if somebody on another planet was watching me.
Mhm.
I'm kind of weird.
No, I did that too, by the way. I did that too, so I get it. I understand that. I do. Yeah. And it's much, the skies were a lot clearer in the Midwest than they were out here at that time.
Well,
Yeah.
this was back in Virginia on my uncle's farm. So
Oh,
there were
wow.
no houses nearby. And so,
Oh,
it's like pitch black. So all the stars were in their divine glory.
oh yeah. Beautiful times. That's amazing. Well, gosh, Jayne, like I said, we talked about so many things. We could have talked about it so much more, but I really loved it. I just really loved it. It was just so nice to talk with you, you
It's
know?
my pleasure. Thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
Oh, Jayne, hey, and I can't thank you enough for whether it was the publicist, whatever, for allowing me to read that book. It's just been a real pleasure. So I'm just wishing you so much success with it, and you know what? Outside of the book, I'm just happy for you. You know, the page has been turned. You're in a whole different place, and you go forward. You go. You know. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. That
No,
means
I mean it.
that means a
Thank you.
lot
Thanks.
for having me.
Oh,
Thank you.
Jayne, for
Absolutely.
sure.
And we'll make sure you get a physical copy because you got the galley copy. The book doesn't actually come out until September 2.
Right.
Uh, and the Anscape is dropping it. We're doing our first launch on Good Morning America on September 2.
My gosh, that's a great way to do it. How funny
Right.
is that?
Well, Robin Roberts actually, because I called her one day and I said, and I'd never spoken to her before, but I knew that her history and everything.
Oh, you've
And
been through so much. Yeah.
but in her, her sports background as well.
Right, of
Uh,
course.
so, I don't even know how I got her number, but I called her and I said, I just wanted to, see if you had an idea of a publicist that I could pitch to because we've been turned down by 42 publishers before we found Anscape.
What?
I have I, I gotta give it to myself. Our proposal is awesome.
Hmm. Hmm.
112 pages, and it's really, really good. There's
Yeah.
nothing missing. There's nothing missing in it. So I don't know why it had been turned down. A lot of it's about millennials that just don't know me. They just don't know about the times, some of the things that I'm talking about. So, but then there are other people that are saying, well, no, we don't do that genre. No, we don't do this. There were so many no's, 42 turn downs.
Oh,
Bef-
is that crazy? I didn't expect you to say. That shocks me.
yeah,
Shocks me.
we
Yeah.
landed at Disney because of the first editor that I was assigned to. She fought for me, and Robin Roberts was on. So I called Robin and I said, "Do you know of a publishing house that I could go to? Because I've got, I think it's great." Um, And she said, "This, I can't believe you don't have anybody, Jayne." She said, "This is crazy." She said, "Let me put my thinking cap on." The next morning, Robin Roberts is on Good Morning America. I just spoke to Jayne yesterday, and she said
What?
she doesn't have a publisher. Why aren't these publishers? They have gatekeepers up there, and they're keeping this masterpiece away from you. Y'all got to call Jayne. And so somebody heard her say that, and they're friends with the editor at Disney, and Disney owns ABC. And so they called the editor at Disney and said, "You got to find Jayne Kennedy. Find her phone number. Give Jayne Kennedy a call." So she finally found my number and she called me. And that's how it all got started. Sherry Shepherd, Sherry Shepherd was on the show. They honored me for Black History Month just the week before. Just the week before.
Oh my gosh.
She said, "I can't believe Jayne Kennedy doesn't have a publisher. I just heard Jayne Kennedy doesn't have a publisher. This is crazy." She said, "Jayne, we sell books on our show. So if these publishers, don't get the message, they should now, because you're welcome on our show anytime. You just come and sit right here next to me." And next thing you know, I got a contract with Disney.
Oh my gosh. Jade, honestly, I mean, look, I'm not happy you went through 42 people, but you know what? It goes with your story. I mean, it just does, you know? It's going all the way back to laughing and, all of that, all those moments. And then even now with getting the book published, it just, you know what? Hey, somebody's watching over you. Something's happening there. That's
Never
pretty
give up.
beautiful.
I never give up.
No, you don't.
It's been 25 years since I first started this.
20.
25 years this month.
How do you, okay, hold on.
25 years ago, I started
25 years?
at
How
my parents'
so?
50th anniversary.
Oh, wow. So would you put it away for a while or what would you do?
Sometimes. I started writing frenetically. I just would, I couldn't stop. I just was writing, 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 writing. Disney said that when they gave me the contract, they said, you're going to have to come up with 350 pages. Like, I don't think they even believed me. The only person that believed me was the editor that fought for me. They
Wow.
said, "No, you're going to have to come up with 350 pages." And I said, "That's no problem. I already have 875, and I'm not through."
It's a great comeback. I love it. Oh, too
Not done
funny.
yet. Not done yet. That's the name of my company. Not done yet.
All
That's my
right.
company.
That is about as perfect and dead on as it comes. That's
Yeah.
great. Wow.
Uh,
Well, I, that's cool. I mean, that's just cool. That's just so cool. Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm gonna be watching for it, obviously, and we'll probably release this around that time. Um, but Anyway, just thanks a lot. And if hey, anything I can do at any point, please reach out. No problem at all.
Thank you
Just,
so much. I
just loved
appreciate
it.
it. I
You got
appreciate
it.
it. You
You
let me
got
know. Yeah. Maybe we do a follow-up afterwards.
it. Okay, I would enjoy that, Jane. I would
When
very much.
we get our New York Times bestseller.
All right, all right. When it goes up, we just might do the follow-up then. I would enjoy that. I'm gonna hold you to that one. We're,
Okay.
okay, you got it.
All right, done.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you so much.
You
Thank
got
you.
it.
Stay
Pleasure.
blessed.
Hey, stay safe. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Please don't forget to hit the subscription button and also hit the notification bell right after that so that you get notified whenever I have a new episode. And be sure to check out some of my other interviews. Henry Winkler, Jerry Mathers, Angela Cartwright, Shelley Fabre. It goes on and on. They're so great. Enjoy.